Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Uncommon Educator. Happy holidays. I hope you had an amazing Christmas. And by the time you see this, gearing up for the new year, I have been working hard on setting goals for myself and setting actual action plans this year. I had a rough 2024 and went into just a funky state. And so going into 2025, I had this fear. And it was for the first time in my entire life. Be honest. I've always been a go-getter. I've always been somebody that has been on top of things, even when setbacks happen. But for some reason, in 2025, as I was wrapping up 2024, I was fearing goals. I was fearing action plans. I was fearing anything in regard to building my future. And in 2025, I had a better year for sure. Did a lot of healing, a lot of growth for myself personally and professionally. And last week, when I was taking time to rest and rejuvenate and do all of the things, I realized that I spent a whole year being afraid. And that's a year I cannot get back in my life. Now I'm turning 55 in 2026. So it's coming fast, and I've done a lot of great things in life, but I don't want to waste even one day. So I sat down last week on Christmas night and I started just writing out plans and writing goals and doing all of the things. And I was listening to a podcast while I was taking a trip over the weekend, had a lot of time to think in the car. And I started to think, we can write all these goals, we can make all these plans. But if we don't actually execute and hold ourselves accountable, and if we don't make the necessary adjustments from the year before, they're just going to fall to the side. I think that's what happens with resolutions. When people choose their word, they make a new resolution, we have all these hopes and dreams, right? We're great at dreaming and hoping, but we never put the action steps or actually do the action steps in order to make the adjustments in order to see a different result. And so by February, we're giving up on ourselves and we just think, well, this is as good as it gets. I saw a post on social media this morning early. I've been waking up in the night. I've gotten enough sleep now. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably know I don't sleep well. But as I'm scrolling through social media in the middle of the night, I see this post and it said, the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And it made me think about my TED Talk that I did this past year or this year in 2025, back in February. And I was talking about how teaching is hard. And I have a workshop and I've delivered the workshop a few times to some different districts. And we talk about the mere fact that teaching is hard. But what we also have to realize is adulting is hard. Work is hard. Being a doctor, sure, they get paid a lot more, but they spend a lot more, right? To get to that spot. That's hard. Being a lawyer, that's hard. Working at Walmart, that's hard. I can say that because I have friends and family members who are doctors and lawyers and worked at Walmart, worked in a restaurant, work in a factory, work on a farm. There is not a profession out there that's not hard. It's just hard in a different way. And what makes teaching so hard is that we are actually shaping the future. Because without us, of course, we wouldn't have all those other professions. But also, that's a big responsibility. So, as we're going through this next semester, this beginning of 2026, wrapping up the 25-26 school year, something that I want to stay focused on is how can we do this hard better? And how can we keep ourselves in a state of mind where we realize everything about life is hard. It's not going to just be handed to you unless you're a trust fund baby. And I don't know about you, but I'm not. or you win the lottery. And I don't know about you, but I've never buy a ticket, so that's not going to be a possibility. It's about putting in the hard work every single day. Now, you didn't sign up for this, just like I didn't sign up for this because I was going to get rich or I was going to get famous, but because we were called to do this work. And I'm not going to tell you to go into 2026 thinking about your why and do all the mindset things. You've done that before. And if you haven't, go do it. But chances are you have. But what my focus for 2026 is going to be, and I'm committed to share with you, are the ways in which we can do this hard better. January, every month we'll have a theme. January's theme is systems. I'm going to be speaking to school leaders about systems for schools. And classroom teachers, I'm going to be speaking to you about systems in your classroom. I can tell you all this bad stories about my first year of teaching. It was awful. And I wanted to blame everything else for my failure. But honestly, I didn't have systems in place. And when a system was given to me from my mentor or from my grade level chair or from my administrator, I didn't execute. And I had to learn the hard way what it meant just to be running around without any kind of direction in my classroom. We don't deserve to have that environment any longer. That's what we don't deserve. We deserve to have the right support and the right training in order to build and grow those systems, hold ourselves accountable for implementing those systems so that we have structure, so that we have responses planned, and we're not just interpreting things on our own. I will share this. Walking into every school that I was a principal, my teachers, my staff that I inherited, and then those that I brought on board, they were working hard. And when I first stepped into the building, they were working harder than they needed to because there was such a lack of systems that everybody was running around crazy. How many of you have seen those Facebook posts, those Instagram posts, probably even TikTok? I'm just not on it, where people are talking about how exhausted they are, that they don't know how to handle or plan or organize things, that teaching is just not for them. And that statement is what breaks my heart because I believe in the power of a teacher. I believe in the work that you do, but you can't do the work if we don't have systems in place. So as I mentioned, every month in 2026, I will be centering all of my social media posts, all of my podcasts, my blog, all of the work I do, including a new free monthly workshop that will release the first Saturday of every month. You will have an option to sign up in the notes here today to come in and learn what it takes to put these systems in place as both school leaders and classroom teachers, because they're two separate entities, but one can't function without the other. I will get real. I will share real stories. I will give you real documents that you can use, real steps and procedures to actually put these in place. And it all comes from my experience and my successes. My first year at the last school I ran, we were able to reduce discipline referrals to the office by 44%. And within 8 years, we went from over 2,000 discipline referrals to the office down to less than 100. And that was even during Hurricane Harvey. In Houston here, we had a year where we had lots of situations with our chemical companies and we were missing school or being let out of school early. We went through COVID years, all of the things in a very, very challenging district. If I told you what district I don't care where you are in the United States, you probably saw it on the news due to one of something that happened. I've navigated with my staff through some really challenging times, but we were able to come out successful on the other side. And it wasn't because I'm a miracle worker, and it's not because I had the magic fairy dust, although that would make me rich, right? It's because we were very intentional about the work that we did. And why should I hide that? I'm ready to share that with the world. So going into 2026, I've set my goals. I've done my reflections. I've looked at what worked and why it worked. I looked at what didn't work and why it didn't work. I highly recommend that you do that before we go back to school next week. I then set my intentions for the year, my action plans, times for me to go back and review data, and my way to hold myself accountable. I also gave myself permission to have a little grace on the hard days and ask for help when I need it. 2026, I don't think the economy is going to change. We're definitely not going to have change in leadership in our country, whether you want it or not. It doesn't matter. That's going to stay constant. Housing prices are not going to go down. Grocery costs are not going to go down. My goodness, my daughter's about to have a baby, and I'm learning all about daycare costs 35 years after I had to pay for it. It's not going to go down either. We can dwell on all of those things and use them as reasons for not to move forward. Or we can sit back and say, okay, so what? Now what? And focus on the things that are actually going to move the needle so that you can be the best teacher you can be for your students. I totally believe in you. All right, that's everything for this week. Short and sweet, but I'm excited for 2026. My energy is high. I feel good about the work I'm doing. And it's time now to get this into your hands so that you too can do great work with your students. Please, if you would, share this out with someone so that we can get this word out. Please, if you would, let me know how things are going. I would love to hear from you. SherryDixonConsulting@gmail.com. You can email me. Please be nice. If you think it's awful, just don't tell me. But leave me a review on these episodes. I would love that. Share it out, as I mentioned. Come find me on social media. Let's connect because it's time. It's time for us to do education better. All right. Have an amazing new year. Don't party too hard. And if you do, stay safe. And I will see you in 2026 with some great new topics for us to discuss each week here on the Empowered Educator. Bye, y'all.